Once in a while, I like to pass a little fun fact along, in case you're trying to impress someone with all your vast knowledge of weather. Number of 100-degree or hotter days in McAllen. We're talking about August now. So far this August has been all but one day. 13 days in McAllen have hit at least 100 degrees. What does that mean? Well, it's been hot. Average, though, since 1970. If you go back to 1970, look at all the Augusts since then, you come up with an average of 12. So you could say, well, we're above average by a little bit in terms of the number of those hot days. But here's where it gets interesting. See, it has been hotter than usual, and we've had more 100-degree days, especially in the last decade or so. So if you take the average of just the last 10 years, that average comes out to 23. That's almost twice what the longer-term average is. So it gives you an idea that we could really add up, if trends continue, a lot more 100-degree days and be like it's been more typically hot across areas around the McAllen and Valley. So fun fact for you. Go impress someone at work today. And heat continues across the valley. Hot weather, 100-degree days or hotter again. Probably the next few days, at least in many areas. May drop a little bit next week, but still mainly dry weather. There's very, very little chance for a shower next few days and in the next week. Some of the longer range trends do try to show an increase in rain and maybe moisture in the western Gulf by later next week. That's something you want to watch in the long term, but the next 7 days, not much going on. 96 in Weslaco right now, 96 degrees in Brownsville, 97 degrees in Rio Grande City, and feels hot. But if you want to quantify it, 103 in Harlingen, 108 in Brownsville, 106 in Rio Grande City. Feels hot all over, and the heat index, especially when we get up there in that 105 to 115 range, you always want to stay cool, stay hydrated. You don't want to succumb to any heat-related health problems here on these hot summer days. Satellite radar shows pretty clear skies out there, very few clouds. There's a little more moisture in the air trying to come in from the Gulf. You might be able to get enough with the sea breeze for maybe one or two very small brief showers somewhere, I think, in the lower half of the valley, but it's quite possible that nothing will happen, most days around here. Sunshine and quiet weather this afternoon on Future Track. Future Track shows nothing, and as we go through this evening and tonight, still mainly clear to partly cloudy skies. Tomorrow, a day when things look kind of mostly sunny out there again and practically no chance for rain. So I think we're talking about probably a dry stretch through most of the weekend. If you do have plans for the weekend, Saturday and Sunday, we're talking still probably temperatures around 100 degrees and plenty of sunshine. But yes, the tropics, those tropics, we're getting toward where the hurricane season usually starts to ramp up a bit, but Gulf of Mexico very quiet. Caribbean and Atlantic still very quiet. Longer range forecasts do kind of increase some of the moisture and disturbances down here in the Caribbean and try to maybe increase things next week. So here's Future Track as it plays out through the weekend, just to show you the tropics. This is the GFS model. Shows not a lot going on, but some of the models do try to hint at maybe a disturbance eventually or some moisture gathering in Central America and maybe the Caribbean. You see by next Tuesday, or 6 days from now, doesn't show much going on. Does try to show kind of low pressure in the western Gulf and Caribbean, and that general area may be enough to get some moisture building and moving into the western Gulf, but that's not still until 8 days from now, so plenty of time to wait and see what happens. But some of the models have been kind of trending more rain entering the Gulf and maybe less dry weather, so some of that may eventually get back toward Texas late next week. But until then, hot and dry. 103 today, mostly sunny skies. Slim chance of maybe a little shower somewhere, mainly in western Willacy County or western Cameron County if the sea breeze is able to get going. But tonight down to 80 degrees, clear, humid, not a lot happening either. And the next 7 days, first 1-5 AccuWeather 7-day forecast. Temperatures stay pretty hot, near 103 for a high on average today and tomorrow. That ranges from the low 90s at the coast, about 107, 108 in western Starr County. Although notice that's a bit of a cooling trend. It drops a little bit next week as the weather pattern shifts a bit, so maybe more upper 90s instead of 100s, and still mainly dry weather, but there could be a couple showers trying to return as early as next Wednesday or Thursday. We'll keep tracking it here coming up on Channel 5 News at noon. Dina?